Hello and welcome to another Harsh Noise Gear Review. I am here today with the Electrolobotomy Passive Cut-Up four-way mixer. Now this is a really cool, simple device. A lot of other makers have similar stuff, but I'm reviewing this one because I really like this one. It's really good for cut-up noise and a whole bunch of different stuff that we're going to get into. First I'm going to go over the features, then we'll show you how to use it as a mixer, then how to use it as a splitter, and some fun, weird stuff you can do with it. First, the features. It's a really simple box. We have 4 ins, 1 out, or 1 in and 4 outs, because this is passive. You can use it as a mixer or a splitter. You have volume knobs for each channel, on-off switches for each channel, and then momentary on buttons for each channel. Let's go ahead and demo it as a mixer and just get started here. So I'm going to plug in, let's plug it in first. We're not going to hear anything yet, but let's plug in some drums. Drums? Do I want drums? Yeah, I do want drums. I just have to reach behind here to get the cable. Oh my gosh. Should have thought that through beforehand, but okay, here's some drums. So the drums are a little quiet, but we're gonna mix stuff. So we're gonna find out why the drums are quiet, and we're gonna figure it out. But let's check it out. Let's put in this noise synth next. We're gonna give the whole mixer a little bit of boost, a little bit of gain. See, and we have offs. But listen. That's a tiny bit of bleed, isn't it? But not noticeable. Not really. Let's try the cunt. So we have our volume knob. But you notice even if I turn it all the way down, you still get a little squiggly wiggly. Even all the way off, a little squiggly wiggly. So this thing does have a bit of bleed when you are dealing with hot signals. But the volume difference is massive. Like, and let's throw in a shaker box. So it all works. So let's mix our volumes. So yeah, that's the simple of how it works. You have on switches, momentary ons, and the best thing about this thing is that it's durable as hell, and it's only like, I want to say like $50, $60, maybe $70 at the most. They have an Etsy and an Instagram, Electrolobotomy. You should follow them. I think it's probably cheaper if you buy not on Etsy, because that's how Etsy works. They steal your money. used to sell these through Etsy, and I don't anymore because.
Fuck Etsy, I don't give a shit.
Okay, now I'm just having fun, but that's how it mixes. It mixes, it has a little bit of bleed when you're using really hot signals, but that's okay. I once used this as my main mixer for a performance instead of that, and don't do that. Like, don't give the sound guy a single 1/4 inch out of this, because I did that. I ran like a drum machine and a synth and my vocals in, and then I gave the sound guy a mono 1/4 inch, and he had to give it so much gain because this thing is passive. It's not an active mixer, so you're going to lose some volume, always. Now, you see I had to give it gain in the mixer, right? So the sound guy was kind of pissed at me that I was using this as my final mixer and not that. But, so I wouldn't recommend it for that, but this is great in like the middle of a setup, like before your mixer, or before a distortion pedal, or before some sort of effect. And you have your different cut-up sound sources going into it, so you can switch between them really quick. Enough of that, let's talk about splitting. So let's turn off some of this stuff. And we're going to talk about splitting now. Splitting hairs, well, splitting audio. And the thing with splitting audio is, again, with a passive mixer, you lose a lot of volume. But that's okay, because you can use... I really like using this thing as a splitter for modulation. Now, I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's... plug in this thing, this like crappy sequencer, and get that out of the way. Move in the East Beast. Yeah, East Beast. We got our Electrolobotomy, we got our Seal sequencer. So we're going to plug in our Sele sequencer into our input. We're going to flip it on so it shoots it out the... let's just do one output for now. And we'll turn down and off the rest. And then let's... oh, we're going to get a bunch of these. We're going to get a bunch of these things. These are converters. 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch converters. And I'm only doing this because I'm about to run it into the East Beast, which is a semi-modular synthesizer. Now let's get some... some of these, some 1/4 inch cables, and let's see what it sounds like. So we are first... oh, I need to get an output for this baby. Let's take this one, stick it on that. We got our output of our East Beast. Let's see if it works. Yeah, cool sound. Right? Okay, so we got a sound. Let's run this in to replace our oscillator. Okay? So we're going to take this, the Oh my gosh. There we go. These are a little difficult to get in. There we go. And we're going to run this into... Let's run it into the FM so you can actually, like... We're going to... Which is the frequency modulation, so... Pretty subtle. Let's try it. Yeah, as I said, let's try it as the oscillator. So we're going to run it into the filter. So now that's just this through the filter, but we have this splitter here. So we're going to, oh my god, these are a little difficult, so I'm going to just jam these in first. Now, jamming it in. Okay. Then let's turn them up, split them, right? So let's run this into the filter mod. Hell yeah, let's hold it and then mess with this. Well, let's get another parameter. Let's get another parameter. Let's FM and pitch. Boom. Not as dramatic as I had hoped, but there's kind of a reason why, I think. And we're going to run it through a fuzz first. Run it through a fuzz first. Run it through a fuzz first. We're going to run it through a fuzz. Just give it that extra oomph. So we got our fuzz, rat meow, fuzzy kitty meow, and let's try that. Oh, there we go. There we go. What I'm doing now is I just unplugged this from the oscillator in. So right now, just the East Beast without any modulation, but I have this sequencer plugged into the modulation of the pitch, the frequency modulation, the width mod, and the filter mod. So let's hear what it sounds like. Pretty cool. Yeah, so the Electrolobotomy 4-way passive cut-up mixer. It's a passive mixer, which I haven't covered on this channel yet, but it's so cool. It can do all this different stuff. I've used it on a few recordings. I've used it on have been, let's see, things I've done with it. My favorite things I've done with it were not the time I brought it on stage that one time I mentioned, but the favorite things I've done with it have been I recorded one track where I ran a 2-minute audio loop in and split it up into a delay pedal, into the filter modulation of the Juno, a filter modulation of the Mini Brute, and one other parameter, I don't remember. But I split up an audio source and set it to modulate and play through a whole bunch of stuff. That's fun. Another thing I've done is use this as a mixer for CV, which is especially useful for control voltage, running in stuff and then mixing them all together to modulate something else. Like mixing a bunch of different LFOs to make one complicated wiggly LFO, for example. Hell, we could try that right now. Let's do it. Let's do that really quick, with the quickness. Oh no, my Carcosa. It lost the little guy. Yeah, there we go. Okay, as I was saying, we are going to run out the oscillator, the LFO, and the multi-effect, which should be on LFO. Okay, so that means that this is going to be the combination of an oscillator and 2 LFOs mixed together. Let's see what it sounds like. Let's run it into our filter. You gotta turn it on and hit a note. Interesting. Let's find out what's happening. Okay, so we have our note, and that's from the oscillator. This is the LFO, which we can't really hear. And then Here's the other LFO, which we can't really hear, but when you mix, let's take those two LFOs and the oscillator and run them into the filter mod. So that's just the multi. Now let's bring in the other LFO. Let's speed up the multi. Yeah, and you could hear how the two LFOs were combined, mixed together, and I kind of like balanced out the volumes on the two of them so that I could hear it kind of bouncing, which is really fun. I think that covers about everything I wanted to talk about with this little mixer. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Check out Electrolobotomy. They make lots of great noise toys, lots of really solid, really like minimalist, great noise stuff. I reviewed their Hadron Collider previously, the noise synth, and now this cut-up mixer is a like vital tool, especially if you like cut up and you like switching between sources and having a bunch of sources plugged in and mixing or using stuff to modulate at different levels. It can be a lot of fun. That's about it. Thank you. Don't forget to like and also subscribe if your heart wills you to. Like and also subscribe. Thank you.